Welcome to the deep dive. This time, you've really sent us down an interesting path looking into, well, work ethic and what drives achievement.
Yeah, and we've got a real mix of sources to dig into. There's like a Reddit thread, Brian Tracy's ideas, some Wikipedia on self-efficacy, and even practical tips from Faster Capital.
Exactly. So our mission really is to pull out the key threads from all these different viewpoints.
Yeah.
We want to get a clearer picture of, what makes people with a strong work ethic tick, and maybe how we can all learn from that.
Absolutely. It's about getting past just the inspirational stories, those are great, and looking at the mechanics underneath. What are the mindsets, the habits, the core beliefs?
Right. And how can you actually use this stuff in your own life?
Mm.
Okay, so let's dive right into that Reddit thread first. It's called "Any Examples of People with Exceptional Work Ethic." Seems like a good place to start, just hearing what people think.
Yeah, it kicks off with a student asking for inspiration, which I think, a lot of people can relate to. We all hit points where we need a bit of a motivational boost.
Definitely. And what jumps out straight away is the sheer variety of people mentioned.
Totally. You've got actors like Tom Hardy,
Yeah.
famous for his intense physical prep for roles.
Right?
Then someone like Elliot Hulse from the fitness world online, and even Joey Diaz, the comedian, who's known for just grinding it out on the road.
It shows it's not just one kind of person or one specific field, does it?
Not at all. And the list goes on. Elon Musk comes up,
Of
obviously.
course, same as for the long hours.
Yeah, and Arnold Schwarzenegger, bodybuilding, movies, politics, all requiring huge discipline. Chris Gardner, too, the guy from The Pursuit of Happiness. His story is just incredible perseverance.
It really broadens the definition, doesn't it? It's not just CEOs in suits.
No. And they also mention people in, like, military special operations. The level of commitment and mental toughness there is, well, off the charts. It's work ethic under extreme pressure.
Wow. Yeah. And then you get historical figures, too. Bruce Lee, Benjamin Franklin, Nikola Tesla, all known for being incredibly productive.
Right, powerhouses in their time. And then more modern examples, like Marissa Mayer at Yahoo reportedly doing 130-hour weeks.
130 hours. That's hard to even imagine.
I know. And Jeff Immelt at GE, supposedly 100-hour weeks. Howard Schultz at Starbucks, Tim Cook at Apple with the early emails, even Justice Souter and Ban Ki-moon. It's this pattern of intense dedication in leadership roles.
So what's the engine driving them? That's the real question.
Well, it's interesting. There's also this anecdote in the thread about a PhD supervisor. Apparently, they plan meetings down to like 15-minute slots meticulously.
Okay, so that's not just about long hours. That's about efficiency, respecting time.
Exactly, making every minute count. It suggests work ethic isn't just brute force. It's also about being smart with your effort.
That makes sense. And I like the bit about people finding inspiration in autobiographies, especially Benjamin Franklin's.
Oh, yeah, the self-tracking, his little minimalist calendar. It's like he was life hacking centuries ago.
Totally. And that Elon Musk quote about 100-hour weeks getting you a year's work done in, 2.5 months? It's a bit extreme, but it makes you think about the power of focused effort.
It definitely highlights the potential multiplier effect. Then there's that other story, the boss at the construction consulting firm in Asia.
Oh, yeah, the one described as relentless.
Right. Not flashy, but highly valued for just solving problems. Comes in early, leaves late, meticulously checks junior engineers' work.
And that leads to rapid promotions, not just for him, but for his team, too. It's a different kind of example. Consistent, dedicated effort making a huge impact.
And Warren Buffett gets mentioned, too. Another figure known for long-term dedication.
It really makes you think, like one commenter said, about all the stories we don't hear. People just quietly getting amazing things done through sheer hard work.
Yeah, away from the spotlight. It's not always about innate talent, is it? Sometimes it's just pure grind.
And those personal stories, like someone saying they can't sleep until a project is 90% done, that resonates, that drive to push things almost over the line.
It does. So these real-world examples, they set the stage really well for getting into Brian Tracy's stuff, his psychology of achievement.
Okay, so Tracy tries to give this a structure, a framework for how to actually cultivate that kind of dedication.
Exactly. His big idea is that achievement isn't just luck or talent. It's fundamentally rooted in your mental framework,
Yep.
your attitude.
Right, so it starts inside your head. He talks a lot about self-belief, doesn't he? and having a positive outlook.
He really does. That core conviction that you can succeed, he contrasts it really strongly with, pessimism and self-doubt.
No, so.
Well, he argues that if you go in expecting to fail, you kind of sabotage yourself. You don't put in the full effort, and then, surprise, surprise, you might actually fail. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Ah, okay, so your internal dialogue really matters.
Mm.
Tracy says you can consciously change that narrative.
That's a key part of it, yeah. Shifting from, I probably can't do this, to something more like, okay, I'm going to figure this out. It just opens things up.
Makes sense. So you got the mindset piece, then Tracy moves on to goal setting. He calls it the blueprint for achievement.
Yeah, that's his term. He argues that you need clear goals to give your effort direction and, well, purpose. Otherwise, you're just spinning your wheels.
But it's not just having a vague idea, is it? He breaks it down quite a bit.
Oh, yeah. Very practical steps. You need clarity, you know exactly what you want. Specificity, the details matter. Writing them down makes them feel more real.
Uh-huh. Measurable goals, too, so you can track progress.
Yeah.
And deadlines.
Deadlines for urgency, right? Plus, identifying obstacles beforehand, thinking about what skills you might need, developing an actual action plan, the steps to get there.
Wow, okay. And reviewing them daily. That sounds intense.
It keeps them front and center.
Yeah.
And finally, being flexible enough to adjust as you go. It's a pretty thorough checklist.
It really is. Yeah. And he also mentions aligning goals with your personal values, right? So it feels meaningful.
Super important. If your goals resonate with what you genuinely care about, you're naturally more motivated. And he brings in visualization, again, picturing success, mentally rehearsing it.
Okay, so you have the mindset, you have the goals, but then comes the hard part for a lot of people. Actually sticking with it. Discipline and persistence.
Tracy tackles that head on. He frames self-discipline not as something you either have or don't, but as a skill you can build, like a muscle.
How does he define it?
It's basically your ability to, manage your impulses and emotions to stay focused on your long-term objectives, doing what you need to do, even when you don't necessarily feel like it right then.
Right. Pushing through the I don't wanna moments.
Exactly. And persistence is just that relentless commitment, refusing to quit when things get tough. That grit we saw in the Reddit examples.
How do you cultivate that?
Yeah.
Especially when goals feel huge and overwhelming.
Tracy's big tip here is breaking things down. Take that massive goal and slice it into smaller, manageable steps.
Ah, okay. So each little step feels achievable.
Yeah, it builds momentum. You get small wins along the way, which keeps you going. It makes the whole thing seem less daunting. And critically, he says, connect those small tasks back to the big picture, your why.
Understanding why you're doing even the boring small stuff makes it easier to push through.
Precisely. If it connects to a larger, meaningful vision, you've got more fuel in the tank for the difficult parts.
Okay, that leads nicely into time management, another huge challenge. What's Tracy's take on maximizing productivity and focus?
For Tracy, it's less about just being busy and more about being intentional, focusing your time and energy on the things that actually move the needle on your top priorities.
So prioritizing ruthlessly again. And cutting out the fluff.
Definitely. Identifying and eliminating those time wasters is key. The things that distract you or don't really contribute to your main goals.
Like endless scrolling, maybe?
Could be. And he brings back the idea of clear goals broken into smaller tasks as being fundamental to managing your time well. Then he gets into specific techniques.
Like time blocking.
Yeah, scheduling specific blocks of time for specific tasks. And the Pomodoro technique, focus work bursts followed by short breaks.
I've heard of Pomodoro. Does it actually work?
Lots of people find it helps maintain focus without burning out. The idea is short, intense focus, then a quick reset.
Interesting. What else?
Minimizing distractions is huge. Optimizing your workspace, turning off notifications, setting boundaries, and importantly, not forgetting regular breaks and even physical activity. They help sustain energy and focus.
It's counterintuitive sometimes, taking breaks to be more productive.
But it works. And finally, he stresses that you need to periodically review your time management system. Is it still working? Does it need tweaking?
Makes sense. Things change. Okay, another big piece of confidence, believing you can actually do all of this stuff. How does Tracy address building confidence and overcoming fear?
He sees self-confidence as directly linked to your ability to hit your goals. If you believe you can, you're more likely to try, to take risks, to keep going when you stumble.
And crucially, it's not fixed. You can build it.
Yes, absolutely. He suggests visualization, again, picturing success vividly, and using affirmations, positive statements about your capabilities to sort of reprogram your internal monologue.
Okay. What else builds confidence according to him?
Achieving those small incremental goals we talked about, every time you succeed at something, even small, it chips away at self-doubt and builds that feeling of competence.
Right, like stacking up little wins.
Exactly. And then there's the tougher part, confronting fears. He argues you have to step towards what scares you rather than avoiding it. Step out of the comfort zone.
Easier said than done sometimes.
For sure. But that's where growth happens. He also talks about adopting a resilient mindset, seeing setbacks not as failures, but as, learning opportunities, data points.
Reframing failure. This seems really powerful.
It is. And he also mentions getting support and feedback from others and just continuously learning. Competence breeds confidence. The more you know and can do, generally, the more confident you feel.
Which ties into his next point, right? Continuous learning and personal development.
Yeah.
It's not just about achieving one goal, but sustained success.
Exactly. He emphasizes that in a changing world, you have to keep learning. A lifelong learning mindset is critical. Complacency is the enemy of long-term achievement.
So how does he suggest approaching that?
He recommends creating a personal development plan, actually taking stock. What are my strengths? Where do I need to improve? Then setting goals for that improvement.
And actively seeking out ways to learn.
Yeah, acquiring new skills makes you more adaptable, more valuable. He points to all sorts of resources, courses, books, online stuff, even just engaging in, stimulating conversation.
And mentorship comes up again here too.
Both finding mentors for guidance and mentoring others yourself. It fosters this environment of shared growth and learning.
It feels like a lot of this points towards not doing it all alone. Which brings us to leveraging relationships and networking.
Right. Tracy's very clear. Big success is rarely a solo act. Building a strong network really enhances your potential.
But it's not just about collecting contacts, is it? He has a specific angle on networking.
Yeah, it's about approaching it with a mindset of giving, of building genuine, mutually beneficial connections, not just, what can you do for me?
So authenticity matters.
Yes.
And consistency.
Consistency is key. Staying in touch, participating in your field or industry. And mentorship, again, is vital, finding guides and being a guide. Plus, collaboration, sharing ideas, pooling resources, it amplifies what you can achieve.
Okay, so Tracy lays out this really detailed psychological and practical roadmap. How does this connect with the Wikipedia article on self-efficacy? It sounds like a related concept.
It's very closely related. You could almost say self-efficacy is the core belief that underpins a lot of what Tracy talks about. It comes from Albert Bandura's work.
Right, and the definition is?
It's your belief in your own ability to succeed in specific situations or accomplish a specific task. It's that I can do this feeling, but applied to particular challenges.
Okay, so it's task-specific.
Yeah.
And how does having high versus low self-efficacy change things?
Big difference. High self-efficacy. You tend to see challenges as opportunities to master something, not threats. You bounce back quicker from failure, and you tend to blame failure on things you can change, like not enough effort, rather than saying, I'm just not good enough.
Yeah, that sounds much more constructive.
It is. You approach things with more optimism, more belief that you can influence the outcome.
And low self-efficacy?
The opposite, really. Difficult tasks feel like personal threats. You focus more on your weaknesses, you lose faith easily after a setback, and you're more prone to anxiety and giving up.
The article mentions 4 sources of self-efficacy. Mastery experiences.
So yeah, mastery experiences are the big one. That's just your own past successes.
Well,
When you succeed at something, it builds your belief you can do it again.
makes sense. What else?
Vicarious experiences, seeing other people like you succeed, can boost your own belief. Verbal persuasion, someone trustworthy telling you they believe you can do it, and your physiological state, feeling calm and energized, helps. Feeling stressed or anxious hurts.
So it's our own history, what we see, what people tell us, and even how we feel physically and emotionally. It all feeds into this belief.
Pretty much. And this belief, the self-efficacy, it influences a ton of things.
Like what?
Well, the choices we make, what challenges we even attempt, our motivation levels, how much effort we put in, our actual performance, how we think when facing problems, how resilient we are.
Wow, okay. That's
Yeah.
pretty fundamental.
Yeah. High self-efficacy often leads to better strategies, seeing the bigger picture. Low can lead to, erratic behavior or blaming lack of ability when things go wrong.
And how failure is interpreted seems key again. High self-efficacy sees it as external or fixable. Low sees it as internal and fixed.
Generally, yes, that's a crucial distinction. It also links to health people with higher self-efficacy are more likely to stick to healthy habits, and to locus of control feeling like you in charge of your life.
Right. The driver versus the passenger idea.
Exactly. And while genetics might play a small role, our environment, family, school, culture heavily shapes these beliefs.
It's interesting how widely it applies academics, STEM fields, writing, public speaking, health choices, even work-life balance.
Yeah, the research backs it up across many domains. Parental belief affecting kids' achievement, self-efficacy, boosting writing quality, helping patients manage health conditions. It's a really powerful psychological construct.
And the article makes a point of distinguishing it from self-esteem, right?
Yes, very important. Self-efficacy is task-specific belief. I believe I can give this presentation well. Self-esteem is overall self-worth. I am a valuable person. They're related but distinct. Same goes for general confidence versus specific self-efficacy.
Got it. So we've covered mindset, goals, discipline, time management, confidence, learning, relationships, and this core belief of self-efficacy. Now, let's bring in those faster capital articles. They seem focused on the final, crucial step, actually doing something.
You absolutely nailed it. All the internal stuff is vital groundwork, but Faster Capital emphasizes that none of it matters without action. Action is what turns the potential into reality.
Right. Goals are just dreams until you act. So what's their advice on taking action?
Well, a lot of it echoes Tracy, actually. Having a plan, breaking goals into small, manageable steps, setting deadlines for those steps to keep you moving.
Okay, reinforcing those basics. What else?
Accountability. Tell someone your goals. That social pressure or just support can make a difference. And rewarding yourself for the small wins along the way.
Celebrating milestones. Keeps the motivation up.
Exactly. They also mention being organized. Makes it easier to track progress and not feel totally overwhelmed.
That makes sense. Clutter, mental or physical, can definitely hinder action.
And they have this one simple trick, they call it. Just start small, tiny, consistent steps every single day. Don't wait for some grand gesture.
Just do something. Anything to get the ball rolling.
Pretty much. Even a small action builds momentum and chips away at inertia. It connects right back to Tracy's daily review and action plans.
So the thread running through everything, from the Reddit stories to Tracy to self-efficacy to faster capital,
Yeah.
is you have to actually do the work.
That's the inescapable bottom line, isn't it? Consistent action, fueled by all those other elements we discussed, mindset, goals, belief, support. That's the recipe.
Okay, well, that was quite the journey through work ethic and achievement, pulling together all these different threads. What's the main takeaway for you, summing it all up?
For me, it's really the synergy. It's not just mindset or just goals or just discipline. It's how they all weave together. The positive growth mindset fuels the goal setting. The clear goals give direction to the self-discipline and persistence. Effective time management makes the effort count. Self-efficacy provides the underlying belief. Continuous learning keeps you adaptable. Relationships provide support. They all reinforce each other.
Yeah, it's like an interconnected system.
Yeah.
And the crucial output of that system, the thing that makes it all work, as Faster Capital pointed out, is action.
Exactly. Having all the right internal components is fantastic, but without consistently taking action, even small steps, nothing actually changes. The doing is what bridges the gap.
It solidifies the learning, builds the confidence, moves the needle.
That's it.
So for everyone listening, maybe the final thought is this. Considering all these insights, what's just one small, actionable step you can take today towards a goal that really matters to you? Think about how your mindset, your goals, your self-belief, and your willingness to act are playing together right now. And maybe digging deeper into some of those Reddit examples or Tracy's techniques or this idea of self-efficacy could spark some more personal ideas. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.